In today's video, I will be diving into the realm of the practical sewing of a male four-corner celestial garment, which is also known as the Prophet Sutana. Make sure you stick to this video to the end because you wouldn't want to miss any part of my sewing guide. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time of watching my video, this is Reggie School of Fashion. Do good by subscribing to my channel for regular updates so that you won't miss any of my subsequent videos. And also remember to keep watching ads on my videos. Please don't skip ads because that is one of the ways you can encourage me in uploading more valuable content. Thank you, and I will see you in class. In constructing a Prophet Sutana, I have my pattern drafted and the fabrics has been cut out in the first two parts of this tutorial. If you are yet to see those two videos, kindly check the description area below for the link to the tutorial. So I have the bodies cut out, I have the side extension cut out as well. So the next step now is to construct the facing. In constructing the facing, I will be drafting my pattern for the facing. I will cut it out on my fusible interfacing, then fuse it on the fabrics. In drafting pattern for the facing, I have my leftover pattern paper laid on my table. Then here is the bodies we drafted, which serve for the front and the back. Okay, so here is the center back and the center front. So I will label this part of my pattern also as the center back stroke center front. Then I will place this to align properly like so. The edges of my body to align properly with the edges of my pattern paper. And I will make sure the shoulder lines align as well. Like this. Then I will hold it down with my paper tape. Now I have my bodies in place on the new pattern paper, edges to edges and center to center, shoulder to shoulder, center to center. Then I will trace out the neckline I have on the bodies. Now that I have the neckline being traced out, I can separate my bodies from my pattern. Then I will trace out my lines clearly. So after tracing out the neckline, the next step is to insert the wideness and the length of my facing. So for the width of the facing, I will be using 3.5 inches, and the measurement will be taken from the neck width point I have on my pattern, not from the edges of the pattern paper. Okay, you can use between 3 to 4 inches for the wideness of your facing. It all depends on how wide you want the facing to be. So as for me, I will stick to 3.5 inches and I'll mark it out like so. So here is a 3.5 inches point. Then I'll come to the lower part of the neckline. You can use a different measurement for the lower part if you don't want it too wide. For this lower part as well, you can use from 2.5 inches to the same 3.5 inches so that it will not be too wide. So, but for me, I want to stick to the same measurement I use for the width. From the neck depth I have here, I will measure 3.5 inches. Then I will make this a straight line like so. Okay, then on this line here I have 1.5 inches. I have 1.5 inches here for the lower part of the neckline. So I will make this 3 inches. Then I will connect the points here and the point I have on the neck depth together with a straight ruler. Then I will have my neckline facing like so. And in case you don't want to have a slanting line like this, you can as well make your facing to be on a straight line. Despite the fact your neckline is not on a straight line, your neckline is slanty, you can decide to make the facing slanty. All you need to do is to confirm the measurement you have from the edges of your pattern paper to this point. So here I have 6.125. Then I will just place the same 6.125 under here. Then I will make it a straight line. So with this, the facing is going to be on a straight line, but this does not really look beautiful and classy like the slanty one. So guys, after drafting my facing like so, the next step is to add my seam allowance. Okay, so don't forget this place, half of an inch will be taken for the seam allowance in constructing the neckline, because on my pattern I have my seam allowance added already. Before tracing out this line, you can see this is the seam allowance line. So this, what I have here, is different from this. So the real measurement for the neckline will be minus half of an inch, like so. So for this reason, I will take the half of an inch of seam allowance for this neckline, and the one I will be using for this side together, that is 1 inch. Half here, half here. So I need 1 inch as my seam allowance at the back. So with this, I will have the exact measurements I inserted for my facing. Okay, now with this, the total measurement I have for the wideness of my facing will be 4.5 inches instead of 3.5. You know, I said I want the wideness of my facing to be 3.5 inches, and I needed half of an inch here and half of an inch here. That makes it 1 inch. So instead of having 3.5, I'm having 4.5 inches. It's just as simple as that. Then at the lower part, I will add half of an inch to the length, half of an inch here, and I will connect the points together. Then I will extend my line to get to the seam allowance point. So now this is the part I will be cutting out for my facing. So guys, now I have my facing cut out, as you can see. So the next step is to cut out the neckline shape I traced out. So this is the neckline I have on the bodies. So this part is the shoulder line, and this is the lower part of the facing. So I will be cutting this out on a fusible interfacing, as I said earlier. So I will fuse this on the fabric before cutting everything out. So this is a cotton fusible interfacing. We have different texture and quality of fusible interfacing. We have the paper one, we have the nylon one, which is known as the polythene fusible interfacing, while this is the cotton fusible interfacing and is the highest quality we have in the market. When I was drafting my pattern, I have my paper as a single piece, my pattern paper as a single piece. I don't need to fold this in 4 places. But while I will be cutting out now, this is going to be folded in 4 places, just the way I folded when I was cutting out the bodies. I folded vertically and horizontally. Any one of the two can come first. You can fold vertically, horizontally, or horizontally before vertically. Then I'm folding horizontally. So now I have my pattern pinned together with my fabrics. I folded this in 4 places, as I said earlier, horizontally and vertically. So after cutting, I will notch the center of my neckline, which is here. On the lower part as well, I will place a notch. On the shoulder line, I'll place a notch. Then I can separate my pattern from my facing. So guys, now I have my fabrics on my table, as you can see. Then I will pick the fusible interfacing I cut out. I will open it up like so. After opening it, I will have it like so. Then I will place it on my fabric, and because I've opened it up, my fabric is not going to be unfolded. You can see I have my fabric as a single piece. So I will just hold it with my sewing pins, take it to my ironing board, and fuse this together. So after fusing, then I will cut out my fabrics. So guys, now I have the fabric and the fusible interfacing fused together. After fusing, then I cut out my fabrics, and this is what I have. You can see the fusible interfacing really supports the fabrics. It makes it stay firm, which will make the neckline look nice on the wearer. Now the next step is to attach the facing together with the Sutana bodies. So in doing this, I will open up the bodies. So here is the shoulder line, and this is the neckline. When you are cutting out your fabrics, make sure you differentiate between the right side and the wrong side. Though the two sides usually looks alike, but in some cases the wrong side is different from the right side. Like my fabrics now, if I don't look at it closely, I will not know the right side is shining while the wrong side is not shining. So this part is the wrong side, and I will chalk this with a blue chalk. So this side is the wrong side of my Sutana. Then I will open it up like so. So now one side will be the front, while the other side will be the back, and the shoulder line is what the front and the back shared in common. The facing is going to the right side. You have to put this at the back of your mind. So, and because this is going to the right side, the position is going to be the right side of the facing facing the wrong side of the bodies. This is the wrong side of my facing. The wrong side of my facing is the fused part. While this is the right side, the fabric side is the right side of my facing. Then I will position this, the right side of the facing facing the wrong side of my Sutana bodies, like so. You can see what I have. Then the notch part to the notch part, this is the center I notched, and I notched it on my facing as well. The notch point must meet first. On the shoulder line as well, I have a notch point. Then I will make sure the angle point, which makes this a 4-corner, meets properly as well. The point I have on the facing and the point I have on the bodies. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Okay, so now that I have all the 4 places pinned, you can see automatically the remaining part of the neckline are lined properly. Now I will be giving you a clue which will help the 4 corner shape to come out correctly. You will not have it like an oval shape. This clue will help all these angles to come out properly. So the secret is this: the 4 angles I pinned earlier, I'm going to mark out the center. This point, this point, this point, and this point. I will place my straight ruler like so. Then I will mark out the remaining 2 points. So guys, now I have the 4 points marked out. This is the first one, the second point, the third point, and here is the 4th point. So the next step now is to mark out my seam allowance. So I will start marking from the depth of the neckline, which is this line. So I will mark my half of an inch here, half of an inch here, half of an inch here. Then I will take my straight ruler, then connect the points together like so, and I will position my ruler in such a way it will meet up with the lines I draw out on this angle point. Okay, then by the side of my neckline I will mark out my half of an inch as well. I have it here, half of an inch here. Then I will pick my ruler, then connect like so. So you can see what I have. With my connection, I have a midpoint at this point, this very point. Then I will repeat the same process on the other side. By the time I will connect this as well, it has to meet with the half of an inch I've marked out on this area. So you can see this line, that is the shoulder line, this part as well, this is the shoulder line. So when you are marking your seam allowance, all the points must meet properly. So that is what I am trying to explain. The lines must connect in order to achieve your desired shape. Then I have this. I will take this to my sewing machine now, and I will be stitching from this point to this point to the shoulder point, downwards to the angular point again, like this and like this. So guys, now I have the facing and the bodies joined together on the neckline area, as you can see. So the next step now is to place notches on the 4 angles I drew out a straight line. This part, this part, this part, and this part. So I will be placing my notches like so. The seam allowance is what I'm notching. Notching means cutting a little. So I will cut it until it almost gets to the seam point, but make sure it doesn't get to the seam point. So as you can see, I'm cutting exactly on the line I drew out. So the next step is to take this back to my sewing machine. Then I will be applying a top stitching. So in applying my top stitching, the top stitching is not going to fall on the facing, because the facing is coming to the right side of the garment like so. So the facing is coming to the right side like so. For this reason, I will not be top stitching on the facing. So the seam is not going to be on the facing, it's going to be on the bodies. So instead of making my seam allowance to fall on the facing like this, it's going to fall on the bodies. I will hold it like this, then I will top stitch on the bodies You can see what I'm doing. So here is the bodice, while this is the facing. So I will top stitch on the bodice all around the neckline, like this, like this. So after top stitching, I will flip this over to the right side and I will give it a very good press. So guys, now I have the neckline area top stitched, after which I turn the facing to the right side of my garment and I gave it a good press. So now this is the wrong side of my garment and this is the right side of my garment. The facing is now resting on the right side. So after turning this to the right side and giving it a good press, the next step is to finish the edges of the facing. Excuse me. In finishing the edges of the facing, I marked 1/2 inch on the edges of the facing all around, just the way I have the shape. Then I folded in the 1/2 inch like so and I gave it a press, and I made sure the shoulder line I have on the facing aligned properly with the shoulder line I have on the bodice. Also, the center I notched here on the facing, I made sure it falls on the center of the bodice. So these are the precautions you need to take when constructing a Prophet neckline. So I folded in all the edges by 1/2 inch and I gave it a press. The next step now is to take this to my sewing machine and I will be stitching on the edges. That is an head stitch. So I'll be stitching on the edges all around the facing. So guys, this is the final look of my garment facing. As you can see, I've finished the edges properly. So this is what I have on this side, and on the other side I have this. You can choose any side to be the front or the back. So guys, thank you for watching this episode of my Prophet Sutana. Trust me guys, there are still more to learn on this series. That's why you need to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, so that you won't miss any of my next upload on this channel. Thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. And don't forget, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.